Hello, everyone. Welcome to a professionally unprofessional podcast. Not long since we were gone this time.
Woo!
I'm joined once again.
This isn't becoming a weekly podcast. Don't get used to it.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
we're going back to next month because especially considering how much we've got to cover next month with all the releases that are coming. So this will be a podcast. We're going to cover a few games, including the first 90 plus. Not in much detail, but we are going to cover the first 90 plus game of the year on Metacritic. But also,
It's not the game I reviewed, that's for sure.
we reviewed.
Spoilers, Reese.
But here's the thing: I've got two games. I've got two. Reese has got two, and Elliot's got three.
Yep.
So we're gonna get through these because I want to talk about a couple of because I reckon we got a very interesting year, judging by one of the events that happened in the week that we did this. So we'll start with. I'm going to start with the 9 plus on Metacritic, which was my game. I don't think either of you guys played it. Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance.
No, I've not played it.
No, I have not.
I'll be honest. I only played it for this podcast. I had.
Also, you're wrong. It's not 90 plus. It's 88.
88. Oh, it's gone down since it first released. Yeah. So, but it's still the highest scoring game of the year so far on Metacritic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost certainly going to be beaten with some of the stuff that's coming out this year. But shall we? I think one of the things I will say with this one, I haven't played that much of this one because I only got it a couple of days ago.
And it's a long ass game.
I picked up the Xbox version, not the not the PC or PlayStation 5 version. That was a space issue thing. And I'll also stress I haven't played the first Kingdom Come, so any of my complaints on it might be stuff that's in the first game, and I don't get the hype. I'm going to be honest, I don't get the hype.
I mean, I think a lot of people really like this game just because it. Well, I mean, for starters, they did really enjoy the first one, and they didn't like sort of the realism with the game, things like that.
It's funny because I'm still having. It's funny because I'm kind of having an interest the same sort of issue. I think it's faux history, as in that we're doing a lot of I think it's like some history grounding to it, but they're doing some licensing, some like fictional licensing with it. You basically. It's
Translation. They're making shit up.
Yeah, because it's around the sort of like the what was going on with King Wenceslas. It's a lot. There's a lot going on, but the gameplay wise, it felt to me very similar to Elder Scrolls. It's very Elder Scrolls.
It's the same sort of formula where you have to big sandbox worlds. The side quests galore go crazy.
Yeah, but God,
I mean, it is the kind of what you expect from like a first-person sword fighting game.
Yeah, but the thing I don't like about it is there's a couple of things I don't like about it. I agree there should be a stamina meter, but that thing runs out so fast at first. You have to start building that one out if you want to do anything. Because when I do the sort of first-person sword combat game, I like to go a bit more methodical with it. Because it's where my strengths generally lie. I found myself struggling to do that because of the stamina meter.
Does that get rectified later on, do you know, or is it always an issue?
You can build it up better as you go on. Like, I did eventually get it up a little bit more, but don't take that out of context. It's also the fact it's not. I don't find it very dyspraxic friendly in the sense of it has that thing of you move the right analog stick to sort of aim the sword, so you're trying to sort of aim a weapon to sort of like get the side that they're not blocking, so you do more damage.
Oh God, I remember Skyward Sword doing that.
Yeah, no,
I was not a fan of it then.
I'm not a fan of it here. It's honestly,
Question though, is it how delayed is it, or is it delayed at all?
It's not really delayed at all. No.
Okay, good. That was like my issue with Skyward Sword.
It's really not delayed. It's and it does have a prompt meter for like ultimate block and then parry back on them. But again, people would say, oh, well, just change up weapons, go like ranged attacks like crossbows, and I didn't like doing that either. That was, I think the aim on this thing isn't great. Look, I think the thing that sells it for me is the characters and the story. There's actually a really good story here. But the problem is it does have that whole thing that Skyrim and Fallout and those games have with like trying to talk your way out of things. You often end up, the thing that seems like the most obvious thing to cool down this situation actually means they now want to kill you. And it got annoying because again, that's one of the things I enjoy doing most in those sort of games. When I play Fallout or Elder Scrolls or even Starfield, I always pick classes that can talk their way out of danger.
Yeah, since charisma is always so important in a narrative RPG.
It doesn't. That's the thing about it. Like, put it this way, this is me problems. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of Kingdom Come 2. I think it's very well designed. It's a beautiful looking game. Like
I've heard some of the Swords YouTubers talking about the fighting style is very authentic.
It's unbelievable.
A lot of people are like, a big praise for the game is the realism. Like they do like the things like, oh, you have to like be really methodical and really think about how to fight with a sword. And there's also things like people saying, they like how you have to be washed and presentable to be able to talk to like certain people and stuff like that.
So just like real life then?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Unless you go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Beat me to it, you bastard.
I will say, actually, there is something I really like about the game. I think it improves on Elder Scrolls and all those games, which is the stealth mechanics. Vastly improved from those games. They actually... it's really... Actually, stealth was one of my favourite things to do in the game. Cool. It's the thing that does it for me is I can't play it that much because of this. I need to improve the stamina meter to really be able to do anything, and the controls do not suit someone with a coordination difficulty like I have. So it's one of those where I just said I've played enough for. I didn't buy the special edition. I've played enough for doing the podcast. I'm going to pop this down and I'll pick it up if people are talking about it for Game of the Year consideration at the end of the year, because I can refresh myself with what the game's like.
I mean, I've just added it to my Steam wishlist, if that's anything.
Well,
the game generally looks interesting. I kind of want to give it a go.
Honestly, Elliot, I think you will really like it more than I do.
I'd just like to know as well. I found 2 negative reviews from users. Someone said the game is very buggy, the combat gets boring quickly, and doesn't improve much from the first game. Pretty fair review, I think.
Yeah.
And then the other one said disappointing work first, and I immediately stopped reading.
Yeah, no, it's this one's got a lot of that anti-woke mob going at it, and I can't remember exactly why they pick it. I think you're allowed to make your character gay.
Yeah, I can, and it's funny because this is all foots in the space of a month. Because last month, the creator of Kingdom Come Deliverance was very anti-woke. And now he's allowed your characters to have gay sex. His entire audience has flipped on him.
So this went completely...
Oh, God.
Wow, that was a hell of a yo-yo there.
Yeah. Controversy, it literally like turned on a dime.
Do you reckon he was doing that to sort of like build him up just to knock him down, and didn't mean it at all, or do you think there's some weird shit that's happened here?
Oh, there is some weird shit because he has said a lot of controversial stuff before.
I think maybe they just put it in to like get, I don't know, maybe get more brownie points.
I don't know. At the minute, it does make me feel a bit worse about buying it, but at the end of the day, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, oh God, I can't win with anything.
Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Worry about the politics of shit. You're never going to be happy.
Yeah. I've learned that one. But no, it's I do know for a fact that this one did get review bombed on Steam because the anti-woke mob went after it, and anything that pisses off those cunts makes me happy.
Yeah, on Steam currently it is labeled as very positive.
Okay, so they obviously didn't review bomb it that much.
They did, but Steam purged a few of them.
Oh,
because
right.
review bombs were from people with like 0 time played. It's like bought this game, refunded it, like dev to DEI and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, you do need to have like a certain number of hours to play it. I remember the worst rated game on Steam. Most of the reviews are people playing it for like just enough for them to write a review and then review bombing it.
Yeah,
it's glorious.
I found that interesting because
Chinese players, man, they are ruthless.
So, because I know it went the other way around. Actually, I remember the one good time review bombing happened was when Hi-Fi Rush was on Hi-Fi Rush because after Tango Gameworks was shut down, people were review bombing it positively.
Yeah,
that was one time it actually was used for good. It was
used another time as well, Cal, don't forget, with the first design for the live action Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yes, they did happen.
Everyone hated it, so the studio took on feedback.
One I can think of that was review bomb for kind of a justifiable reason was GTA, where Take-Two started not letting people use mods.
Yeah, that to me was so baffling.
And the annoying thing was the game was also scanning like general things that sort of improve malware and shit like that as mods.
Did you guys this is a bit off topic, but it kind of ties into the thing. Did you guys ever watch that BBC drama about the making of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
No.
It was Daniel Radcliffe played the lead designer, and
in all fairness, when did that come out?
Oh god, it was like 10 years ago actually.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is like 2006, 7, around that time.
Yeah. It was before.
Yeah, I was 9.
Oh well,
I never even heard of Grand Theft Auto at that point.
It's still available, I think, on the BBC iPlayer. It's Jack Thompson is played by the guy from Dumb and Dumber, who's not Jim Carrey.
Does it include the hot coffee thing?
Yes, in fact, that's what I was getting to, because they do part of the thing that the hot coffee, they actually built it and then didn't release it, and they actually find the guy from Holland that spotted it and put it on. And part of the conference is the guy from Rockstar said it attacks the modders, and Daniel Radcliffe's character says, "I specifically said don't attack the modders. They are our bread and butter." And that's the thing. That's why I think it's baffling that they did it again. To me,
so fast it was corporate.
Yeah, obviously they had to put out a statement because this was a massive deal. I also think the one thing is I felt the drama was too was almost too fair to Jack Thompson.
Yeah,
I think it definitely highlighted the fact he was willing to do terrible, really dumb practices in court that risked his license on multiple.
Kind of like I guess how all the Woodstock '99 shit most of it never really put blame on the organizers. Most of it was fans.
Yes, that was it was very, very similar to that. Because the drama at the end of the day also is kind of sympathetic to him towards the end. I'm like, you can't really be sympathetic to this guy. It does actually do the disclaimer at the end. No scientific study has ever managed to find a link between violence and video games. Can we?
But that won't stop Republicans.
No, never stops them at all. Let's move on to your first one, Elliot. I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with, seeing as this is the first one that came out, Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah, Donkey Kong Country Returns. HD. I've played it. Reese, have you played it?
No, but I played the original.
You basically played it then. If there's just an easier version of that game.
You literally played. The only thing they really add is the 3DS levels.
Yeah, and it's Forever Entertainment. I think it's Forever Entertainment is the name of them. They're the guys who did that.
Yeah, they're the ones who did the HD remake.
Yeah, and they did House of the Dead 1 and 2 HD, and they did Panzer Dragoon remake.
Well, I will give it this. This is the best game they've done then.
It's because Nintendo probably kept them on a leash, which Sega probably didn't. They also did those Front Mission remakes as well.
Yeah, those ones I was about to review the first one when it came out, but it got like really bad reviews at the time, so it was like a buggy, glitchy mess.
Yeah, no,
so
they
I thought, drop it.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why does Sega and Square Enix keep going to these guys? They're useless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look,
especially because the original Front Missions are dead simple games anyway.
And
it's harder.
And this is coming from someone who liked House of the Dead 1 remake.
Yeah.
And I say
I think you're the only one.
And I said, but that's because I got the PC version, and it's actually much better when you play it on PC.
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, once you...
also,
it's like saying, I prefer playing Doom on PC. Just like, big surprise, you get the mouse.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. You need this was a game that needs a light gun or a mouse. The Joy-Cons do not work as a light gun.
Yeah,
unless you tried playing the best version of it, which was Typing of the Dead.
Oh, Typing of the Dead! I forgot about that.
No, that was the best version of the original games.
Elliot, what was your opinion on Donkey Kong Country Returns HD?
I think I agree with what a lot of people have said. It's a good game, but a mid port.
I would agree with that. I played it a lot on train journeys, and it was good for passing the time. But I found I was rarely playing it when I was docking the Switch back, putting the Switch back in the dock when I was back at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. If I had not had this game for review, I don't know if I would have beaten it.
Can I say?
Really?
Not because it's bad, but because one, I'm not very good at beating 2D platformers anyway. And this one was especially hard for me. Like, I have banned myself from streaming it when I finally start doing it.
I do know one thing, though. I was thinking the whole time, God, I wish I was playing Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of other people brought up. The fact that Tropical Freeze is just a better game.
Just in every sense of the word.
It also has Monkey Mode.
But even if
that's actually something that a lot of people brought up. That game, like, that was when they ported over Tropical Freeze, they added Funky Mode in, as well as and they've got like a bunch of quality of life stuff in there. Like for example, one that comes to my mind is that you can use your inventory in the level, as opposed to in this game where you have to equip the inventory before entering the level, and even if you don't use the things you equip, you still lose it. Which is really fucking annoying.
Also, you get access to Dixie Kong in Tropical Freeze, and she makes and she's the best power up in the series.
Yeah, everyone thinks that's a negative towards Tropical Freeze, though. It breaks the game.
Oh God! This is why we can't have nice things.
Now, in all fairness, you want to go Super Saiyan God mode by doing the bare minimum.
It's my playstyle. What's my favorite Donkey Kong Country game? Donkey Kong Country 2, which has the Diddy and Dixie. See, so I'm used to that gameplay style. That's the thing about it as well.
By that logic, your favorite Devil May Cry would be Devil May Cry 2 because it's incredibly easy and can be beaten in 3 hours.
Oh no, it's free.
Using just the pistols.
No, it's either 3 or 5.
5's the best. Shut up.
I think there's a case for 3.
3 was the best, but then 5 came out.
3 needs a good remaster.
Oh, yeah. I really want a 3 remaster. Anyway, back to Donkey Kong. So, I mean, one big issue I found with the game was the load times were horrendous.
They are terrible.
Like, I'm not kidding. I checked the time. They are twice the length of the Wii version.
Why?
Because they moved it over to Unreal 5.
Right, yeah.
Right, so when you swap...
And because of that, it just led to really bad run times.
Not
to mention, I don't know if a lot of people agree with me. I prefer how the game looked in the Wii version. I'm
going to disagree on that one. I think the Wii version, the colors look a little too washed out compared to this version.
Yeah, I would agree. This game looks more saturated and colorful. The fur physics on Donkey Kong are definitely better, but the reason why is because, first of all, because the Wii version was so was pixelated and blurry, you couldn't see the imperfections with the art and the background. Therefore, you could get away with it easier. This game is a lot clearer. It looks outdated.
I can believe that.
You can see the jagged lines. You can see the incomplete art, the incomplete bits in the background, and you're just saying it makes the game look more outdated. With the original game, it's charming. Like the pixelated stuff has charm to it, which is further exemplified, in my opinion, by the fact that there's a lot heavier shadows and a lot better usage of shadows. Meanwhile, with this one, it looks more bland and it looks more outdated.
Thing I don't like about this one, the boss fights.
The boss fights are terrible. I really hate the boss
terrible.
fights.
Did you get to that one with the free crabs?
Of course, I beat the game.
Yeah, the free crabs. That was a terrible boss fight because it felt like
I hear that one.
It felt like
actually. I'm gonna make a rant right now. The final boss fucking sucks.
I agree. The final boss is awful.
Main reason why, every boss fight you get Diddy Kong with you, which I'm gonna say now, Diddy Kong is in my opinion a bit too powerful, because when you don't have it, you feel like you have a major disadvantage.
I agree as well. Yeah, I think that one's you've got a major.
Whereas, so anyway, with the final boss, you get Diddy Kong at the beginning of the level, like all of the boss fights, but then you have to go through like this vertical rocket section to get to the boss. And once you get to the boss, there's no more Diddy Kong barrels. The checkpoint is before the boss, meaning you get one shot with Diddy Kong, and the rest, you have to do it on your own.
God damn it.
It fucking sucks.
Okay.
To the point where I attempted dozens of times with the boss. Eventually I thought, fuck it, restarted the level, got Diddy Kong, beat it first try.
Huh.
Fuck that final boss.
There's
especially as a number of the bosses, you have to be so particular with where you land. Like there's a very specific spot in which you have to land. If you're not dead center, you just don't get. You just don't. It just doesn't work. You just don't get the hit. And not to mention, a lot of during like the later bits in the fight, the amount of time you get to be able to like hit the boss is so minuscule. Like you're given, like, I swear at times, half a second, to the point where if you're not directly next to the boss when he lands, you're not getting it.
Oh, really?
I hate the bosses. The bosses in this game are really not good.
I wonder why Nintendo didn't try to patch or something, just try and make them better.
They were just like, I don't know. It feels like a really lazy port, in my opinion, because they basically just change up the graphics and do nothing else. I struggle to say this is the definitive version of the game, because yes, you do get the 3DS levels, and it is easily the best looking one, but it doesn't really add anything, and the load times with the game are just make it way more of a chore to get through than the Wii version.
Okay, so a couple of things I do like about the game. Don't know if you agree with me on this, Renee. Level design early on is quite good.
I think the levels overall are fun. I think a lot of the levels are really good. I love the barrel sections. I love the minecart levels. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, the
rocket levels can suck a dick.
Yeah, I hate those.
I fucking hate them.
I tell you what I do like. I like the soundtrack. The soundtrack's really good.
Yeah, because the soundtrack's the same as the Wii version, which is already good.
Yeah. So it's one of those where I'm kind of going, yeah, it's good that this game's now more available to people and they've got one that has the 3DS levels in.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I could recommend this to anyone.
Yeah. I like getting the Kong letters, because they kind of make you think about different, because they're pretty easy to get. They're on the beaten path, and you can it does make you sort of view the levels in a different way and make you think, okay, how am I going to get that? The puzzle pieces, I'm a little bit more mixed on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the puzzle pieces...
Not just because they're off the beaten path, but because sometimes some of them require you to beat like this sort of mini bonus stage you can find in the level, which are very easy to beat, which are very easy to lose. like they're very easy to fail at because you're only given 30 seconds and it's very easy to fall off the stage. And if you fail it, you have to either restart the level or die in order to be able to get another chance.
Yeah,
And a lot of these can be at the very end of the level.
That's a big move.
And
that is a big oof. That is so annoying. I get why it's so. Oh, so you can't farm lives. Lives are incredibly easy to get in this game. Not only can you buy them at Cranky's store, but you get so many bananas throughout the game that that's just super easy to get.
And the Kong letters feel more like a sense of accomplishment than the puzzle pieces do.
Yeah, because you get those extra K levels, which are fucking brutal.
So
they are fun. I do like doing them, but they are fucking brutal.
Okay, let's. I'm gonna say, let's move. We think it's a good game, but it's not the best thing, I'd say we both recommend Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, it's fun. I think one last thing that kind of makes this game hate this game even more. This game pretty much confirms that the Switch is the first Nintendo console to not get a new Donkey Kong game.
Well, there's still time yet, Elliot.
And that is kind of insulting because now the last new Donkey Kong game we got is 10 years old.
I reckon we're gonna get a new Donkey Kong on the Switch too. I'm gonna bet.
Yeah, but the fact that we haven't got one on the Switch is annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
All we've gotten are 2 ports.
Especially considering what other games, the resurgence of a franchises got when they got a game on the Switch.
Meanwhile, this it perfectly sums up Nintendo during the Switch, just with the ports and being incredibly lazy because the Switch is a massive success.
What about there's other franchises that they haven't brought over. There hasn't even been a Switch game, let alone a port. Like Star Fox, there's nothing Star Fox on the Switch.
Nothing Star Fox. No, there's no. No Star Fox. No new F-Zero.
No, well, there isn't a new F-Zero. New Kid Icarus. No new Kid Icarus.
Yeah, no new Kid Icarus. But all fairness, the last Kid Icarus game, we only got like one other Kid Icarus game. That's not really a massive one for Nintendo.
I know. I'd really hope that that either a port of Kid Icarus Uprising is coming to either the Switch or Switch 2, or there's a new Kid Icarus game on the Switch 2. Because I think the one thing happened with as much as that game had issues, I fell in love with the world of Kid Icarus after playing it.
Yeah, Uprising was fantastic, but the controls were so bad.
But
the thing we get, like what Fire Emblem got after the characters ended up in Smash Bros. Again, massive resurgence of it, which we just haven't with Kid Icarus.
What about But again, I feel like Nintendo can be a bit but at least one thing is for clear, where we still got, if you have a Switch, you've still got access to those first 3 Donkey Kong countries, and those are still phenomenal games.
Yeah, but we have multiple ways of playing those games. I want something new.
I know.
Oh, stop being selfish.
Put it this way:
leave the multi-million-dollar company alone.
I am with Elliot on this one. I would love a new Donkey Kong game to come soon. So, Reese, we're going to move on to your first one, and I believe that's Synduality.
Yep, Echoes of Ada.
Now, we did talk about the anime on Anime Amigos about this, and it was building up to this game.
Synduality Noir was so good.
It was a really good anime.
I think that was 2023, I think. That wasn't Disney Plus.
2023, but I think the second half... No, I think the first half was 2022, second half was 2023.
Oh.
There wasn't, so there's been a whole build-up.
But yeah, we all watched that and we all enjoyed it, didn't we?
Yeah. It's very good.
Real remnants of really good mech anime. Definitely gave me a lot of vibes of, especially Gurren Lagann. It gave me some of that vibe. It's not as good as that at all.
I can
see that.
Yeah, so this game now, Echoes of Ada, is set 20 years before the anime. but ties in because we see the two main characters pop up in Noir.
Oh, for God's sake.
And this is basically how they left the underground city to come to the surface. And it really just fails across the board on everything.
But that's pointless then, because that means it's just an advertising marketing for the anime, really, if you think about it. Because how could you get any enjoyment out of it? Because you know where the story's going, because the story's going to go to the anime.
Yeah, and in this game, there's barely any story to speak of anyway, because its main gameplay mode is an extraction shooter, which we did not know before the first beta.
I do have a theory that this game was meant to coincide with the release of Synduality Noir, but maybe it got delayed. That's just my thought.
Might have happened.
Yeah.
But...
And from what we got now, it feels more like a mobile game than an actual full-fledged game.
Really? In terms of graphics or in terms of content?
Content, really. So being an extraction shooter, you start off as a new pilot with your Magus, and you get dropped onto one of two starting maps, because the second map you're on later after about 20 hours. It's ridiculous. But so you're on this first map for like tens of hours, go around gathering resources, trying not to get killed by any other player or mob. And then you take those resources back to your base. And to upgrade your base, it uses mobile game building timers, where you have to wait several real game hours to build these facilities.
Oh, good God.
Or, in typical mobile game fashion, you can spend real-world money to speed it up.
There we go. And it's
there it is.
And it's not even a free-to-play game like, say, Marvel Rivals.
Nope, it was 35 quid.
So,
Calvin's contractually obligated to mention Marvel Rivals at every opportunity he has.
Yeah, but
it'll be my second game. I'll talk about it in a bit anyway.
Yeah, but here's a thing about Elliot, because that has had recent complaints really about the pricing of their
skins.
Of their skins that you can buy. I personally think that the pricing is relatively fair, considering it is a free to play game. Like what? Yeah. But the thing for me about Synduality is it really reminds me of those really bad Eureka 7 games on PlayStation 2. Because the big problem with those ones was, narrative-wise, they made no sense to exist. Because the big one I remember was how did Eureka get the Neovosh, the big mech of the series. And it was like, and it actually kind of contradicted stuff that we were told in the anime.
Yeah.
So I just find it bizarre. So I find it bizarre that they're trying to do these prequel games when... I'll give you an example of a really good anime game that Elliot really likes. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Now, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink does really reward the fan base for that game.
Yeah.
It really does reward it, because it basically tells a story of, well, this is a non-canon story, but even if we did want to make it canon, we could set this in the middle of the story and it wouldn't affect anything. That's kind of what I was expecting for Synduality. It would be either this middle part of the story or be a sequel to the anime.
Yeah.
But
no, instead it sets up how humanity moves to the surface after the apocalypse.
But again,
200 years ago.
Again, why did they not just borrow the model from Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which is fantastic?
Yeah. But instead, you get dropped into this one major map for tens of hours, as I was saying, gathering resources. And if you die on the map, you lose everything, including the parts of your mechs, which you can buy for real-world money.
Oh, God.
And one of the special editions was you get the parts for the Daisy Ogre, which was the main mech from Noir they were riding in.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of players got the more expensive version, dropped into the map, were then killed by higher-level players from the beta, and they lost all those armor pieces that they could not get back.
Yeah, someone...
Sorry, Elliot, your microphone's cutting out a bit there, man.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Can you not?
Oh, now you are. Yeah, you're fine now.
Losing. Someone says losing gear to server updates and issues really bleeps the fun out, especially when you have to grind really hard to craft items.
Right.
Yeah. So one of the first objectives for the game is to unlock a crafting station. And to craft even a basic health kit requires 5 items that all spawn randomly through RNG on the map. So there's no guarantee if you're about to say a spot, it'll be there again.
Oh, that's bullshit.
And so to collect 5 of them, you get about like 2 a run if you're lucky. So you have to do several runs. That's like an hour's worth just to craft 1 health kit, really.
Okay. So...
Yeah, it's just such a waste of time, really. And the director of the game said at launch, this will have an offline mode when the servers go off in the future, so players can keep playing. But the game's online. There is no offline mode. There is no single player mode, except a main story that you don't unlock until about 10 hours in. And even that's against AI. So that should have been offline, easy enough. But no, the game requires an online connection at all times.
So that meant that last with the item that
it really feels like a free-to-play game that they just decided to have people pay for no reason.
Yeah. This is Concord all over again in that sense.
Yeah, exactly the same. It's got a full cash shop, full paid battle pass that people can pay real money to skip up the levels, of course.
For God's sake.
So players start the games in the Wales, max that shit out straight away. So they get the best weapons, the best armor in the game. So they literally go to the starting map and just camp starting players with no weapons.
Okay, so...
someone here says, I like the gameplay and the idea, but I'm even fine with the PvP side. But losing your mech is pure BS, especially with the unbalancing game and the Uber grind.
So...
Yeah.
How do you think...
So just going to the Uber unbalancedness they're talking about. On the paid battle pass, there's a sniper rifle you can get, which is like a bolt action one. It can 2-shot any standard other player. So people, so people just literally spend it on the battle pass, unlock that straight away, and just farming low-level players to take their armor from their mechs and flip it for a profit.
Right.
So it's literally the system of the rich get richer, the poor can eat shit and die in game.
That's so shit.
I know. And it's, okay, how do you reckon the battle pass compares to, say, I'll take another one that's a game you have to pay for, but you pay for the battle pass. Street Fighter 6. Because Street Fighter 6 is about £3 to £5 is normally how much you pay for the premium battle pass each time.
Yeah.
How do you think it compares with that one?
It's worse because with Synduality's battle pass, you can pay for power.
You can do that on Street Fighter, but it's cosmetic stuff you're paying for.
Yeah, that's cosmetic, whereas Synduality is actual better weapons and better armor. So 2 people start the game at the same time, but one buys the battle pass and buys levels. There is a distinct tactical advantage, and they will always kill the other player who doesn't.
So very much a pay-to-win situation.
Yeah, it's very unbalanced. Because during my review, I played it for like 20-ish hours. I died 4 times at the start for people just spawn camping you.
Oh, God damn it. I think this sounds like this is a really bad game.
Yeah.
Honestly, God, I would have given up after that. If I died just because of power and balance, I was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, because if you get shot by a sniper, he's like across the map. You can't do shit. There's not enough cover. And your mech moves so slowly, you can't get out of the range in time. And you can't react. Because to use a healing kit, you have to stand still for about 8 seconds, but you're dead within 4.
Elliot, so pretty bad game, we're going to say that one.
Yeah.
Elliot, no one's going to give a shit about my second game, so we'll move on to one of yours.
No, we'll talk about your one.
All right, we'll talk about my second one. Ender Magnolia, the sequel to Ender Lilies.
Why would you say no one will give a shit about your one?
Because I feel like most people didn't really... I feel like I was the only one raving about Ender Lilies. I felt like most people were like, it was a cult niche title, or they didn't really care for it. I mean, we didn't get much when I streamed it in terms of like regular viewership.
I mean, mate, one of the games I'm talking about is one that nobody bloody plays.
Yeah.
Like me and 5 other people.
Actually, on that point, Reese, do you mind if Marvel Rivals goes last?
Yeah, that's completely fine.
I feel like even then, Elliot's second game is a new game rather than an update to a game.
Yeah, whereas mine is just the update I'm talking about.
So, Ender Magnolia, it's the follow-up to Ender Lilies. It's a Metroidvania again. The big difference this time is it's not spirits you're collecting. It's homunculi. It's actually kind of similar in terms of tone and design of the world to Lies of P.
Yeah, it's got it's a sci-fi setting this time apparently.
Yeah, steampunk / sci-fi. They're going.
Counts.
Yeah, but it's quite steampunk, I found. And here's the thing. I think in every way this is a better game than Ender Lilies. But I don't think it hits me as much as the first one did. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel. It feels like I should love this. Now we talked a bit about this when it was in early access last year, and I don't really have much more to add to it because you don't get that. The difference is, remember how in Ender Lilies you got loads of different spirits and you could do combos. This time you get about 6 or 7 of them, and they get multiple weapons that you collect through upgrades. So there's not as much to get this time in a experiment.
You don't get as many, but you get more options to upgrade them.
Yes, exactly. So like each one comes.
I like that. If I'm honest, I kind of like that. I think it also works because, I mean, with Ender Lilies, it's spirits. You can get plenty of them. With this one, it's more automaton, homunculi things, which are physical beings. So kind of makes sense you're not able to get an entire collection of them.
No, as I get a point. And also, there's it also makes it a bit difficult to crowd them round the sofas that you sit at this time, because they actually have you can actually get options to have conversations with them between different points. So they
I like the sound of.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why you don't get as many.
So they basically are trying to add a lot more character to this world. And like Lilac is not a silent protagonist like Lily was. He actually does have something to say. This one. The world design is beautiful. I particularly liked the area that was a nod to feudal Japan.
Yeah, of course.
That one's pretty cool. They do a segment.
Damn, you beat me to Elliot.
They do a segment that really is just Bloodborne. Like, they're not even trying to hide that they really like Bloodborne. Including one of the bosses there, I was like, okay, that is straight out of Bloodborne. FromSoft are going to have a lawsuit ready tomorrow. In fact, one of the weapons you get from it, I was like, you seriously trying to claim this isn't Bloodborne?
You can make the same argument with Lies of P. Like a lot in that game is very reminiscent of Bloodborne, let's be honest.
Yeah, and I will admit, actually, the fact it has a difficulty select, I think, is a good decision. And you can change it any time at the bonfire equivalents. So
that's good.
I actually turned it up briefly during one of the segments I was used to see how it would affect things. It does actually turning up the difficulty really does affect things because the enemies will hit you a lot harder. And I only turned it down for 2 bosses. So that's
not an achievement.
It is for Cal.
It's not an achievement.
I'm good at the game. I only turned down the difficulty for 2 bosses. Would like compliments, please.
I'm so glad I had that option though, because compared to, I feel like the difficulty is a lot more manageable than Ender Lilies. At the end of the day, yeah. That's one thing I didn't like about Ender Lilies, the fact the difficulty really spiked in the mid portion of that game. This one, it's not really until you've done like the 6th or 7th boss that there's any sort of spike. And there's only 2 bosses where I was like, how the hell are you supposed to deal with that? Including one that actually gets a mini robot that heals them in the middle of the fight. That's just bullshit.
Can you defeat the mini robot?
You can defeat the mini robot, but she summons another one.
There you go then. Just do that.
Yeah, but she'll hit you like a truck in the process of trying to kill it. I think I do think, again, the world is beautiful. They designed it's the same engine and the same art style as Ender Lilies. And the boss fights are actually very engaging again. The one thing I will say about this difference is narratively is, remember Ender Lilies, it was this idea of there's no saving this world. We're just doing damage control here. This one, it does give you some hope of, no, I think we can potentially fix this. I think they're setting it up for, no, actually, this is pretty too far gone. But because I haven't completely finished it yet. I'm very close to the end.
Is it getting a DLC?
I don't think it is. No, this is a company doesn't tend to do DLC. They didn't do any DLC for Ender Lilies. I'm very down.
Unless you want to count the soundtrack.
You pre-purchase,
which is nearly the same price as the full game.
Really?
The game on Steam is £21. The soundtrack is £16.75.
Right, well, like Ender Lilies, it's a very good soundtrack, especially considering it's mostly.
But worth that much?
No, it's not worth that much. No, I mean the piano again, and rather like Ender Lilies, it's mostly piano pieces. There's not really many other instruments involved at all. And you know what the funny thing is? It's on Apple Music. Just get it for free on that. So what? So,
I'll check Spotify.
I was about to say, presumably it's on Spotify as well.
If it's on Apple Music, there's no doubt it's on Spotify. No doubt it's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's also on Spotify.
Okay, so why would you pay for that soundtrack then if you've got it on those? Because presumably, if you like video game music, you will be subscribed to either Spotify or Apple Music.
Yeah, especially because those services also are on PC. You can't just download
it. You'll be on Nintendo Music.
Oh yeah, Nintendo Music is obviously the exception, but at least with that one, it's tied to your Nintendo Switch Online account, which you almost certainly have if you're that into Nintendo Music.
Yeah.
So I would say, but the thing about it is, for me, it felt like it wasn't as. I think it's because it's so similar to Ender Lilies in many ways. I think I haven't been able to really appreciate how good those changes are, that they've really streamlined the game.
Yeah, Ender Lilies is probably like, you'll probably like love Ender Lilies so much because there was something new and really big. And meanwhile, this one's mostly the same.
It's mostly the same, that's the thing. It is very mostly the same, but where it does innovate, it innovates very well.
It's not like a FromSoft game where they do make active changes with every Souls-like they release. It's more just like, it's more the same, but still fun.
But if you love Metroidvania...
It's like a change between Elden Ring and Armored Core.
But I've heard it this way. If you liked Ender Lilies, you'll really like Ender Magnolia, because again, it improves on just about everything about that game.
On Metacritic, it has a score of 63, and on Steam it is overwhelmingly positive.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was the 63? Is that the Switch version?
83. Sorry, 83.
83. I was gonna say 63 is way too low. That's a Saints Row score.
Yeah, sorry, dyslexia has hit.
Oh no, I'm feeling your pain. 80. So 83. I think that's a very good score. I think that's
a good score. Yeah, user score is a perfect 8.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's rather interesting, though. But here's the thing, though: would you trust user scores on Metacritic or on Steam more? Because they're both prone to review bombs.
I would probably. I think you're more likely to get review bombs.
I think it depends on what platform you play on. If you play on PC, you go Steam.
I think it heavily depends. I think I'll probably trust Metacritic more because then I can also see the positive scores. Meanwhile, Metacritic just says what the average is.
Right, I see. Yeah. So let's. I think it's time. Let's move on to Elliot's next two. What do you want to talk about?
Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Right. Well, that ties into another thing we're going to talk about in a bit. But Dynasty Warriors.
Fun fact: this is the first actual Dynasty Warriors game I've played. I've played a number of games like it, but this is the first one called Dynasty Warriors I've ever played.
That's funny because I thought you were a big Dynasty Warriors guy.
I'm a big fan of the game style. Like I love Hyrule Warrior or the Hyrule Warriors game. Hyrule Warriors games. I even played a Fate Samurai Remnant, which is very reminiscent of a Warriors game. That was a very solid game as well, actually.
Yeah, and it's incidentally they just announced recently we're going to have One Piece Warriors 5.
Yeah.
And we're getting, and Reese, presumably you play Gundam Warriors.
Yep, all 3 except the third one, which was on PS3 as player mate's house.
I did nearly get a Bleach Dynasty Warriors style game when that was on PS3.
And there's also one on PS4 for Berserk.
Yeah, I've got that one actually. I haven't played much of it yet because it goes all the way up into the Millennium Falcon arc, which I have not reached yet.
Oh, and a game you and me love, Elliot, Persona 5 Strikers.
Yep.
Which Cal did not finish on stream.
Nope. And on stream, he angered me greatly.
That's why we're not playing it on Thursday streams. To make up for it.
Unless I play it.
Apparently, I'm not to be trusted.
You already know that.
Okay, so in terms of Dynasty, I've played a bit of Dynasty Warriors. I've played mostly Hyrule. I played a bit of One Piece at an Anime Con, and I played the Fire Emblem Warriors games.
Mm-hmm. The original, the first Fire Emblem Warriors is okay. Three Hopes is bad.
Yeah, Free Hopes. I stood by. Free Hopes is bad, especially if you actually like the plot of Fire Emblem Free Houses. Because I think it actually insults the storyline of that game. And people disagree with me on this one. They like it being this alternative universe story. But I'm like, nah, sod that. I hate the ending of Fire Emblem.
I like that it's an alternative universe story, but they do so little with it.
Yeah,
I know, and it's basically never mind. Anyway, let's get to Dynasty Warriors Origins. So this is the first one that's been done on this current generation. So like your PS5's, Xbox, and the current PC builds.
Yeah.
How does it move into that into this generation?
Well, it looks fantastic in my opinion.
How many gigabytes was the download, by the way? Because I've been very seriously considering getting this.
It was probably big.
I can't remember. Give me a sec.
I could actually
given the graphical fidelity of it, it must be big.
I could check on my PS5 in a minute, but that's the thing I don't like about. While Elliot's looking that up, that's the thing I don't like about the PS5 store. It's quite a challenge to actually just get straight up how many gigabytes the download is going to be.
Yeah, it is quite bare bones.
No, that's how much is available. Size installation was 50.93 gigabytes.
Okay, right.
More than a 4.
About as much, a bit less than I thought it was.
Amount, but not decent amount, but not horrible.
I was thinking, are we looking at like Kingdom Come or Alan Wake 2 style of size of installation, or?
Yeah, I mean it's not at that too graphically intensive.
But gameplay wise,
it's a good looking game, but it's not graphically intensive.
What about gameplay wise? Gameplay wise, how good is it?
This might be my favorite Dynasty Warriors style game.
Wow. And that's saying a lot.
I genuinely think it's a fantastic game. It's so much fun.
Right. I am gonna have to try this out now, mate. I cannot ignore you saying that. So
you do play as one character, as opposed to like the multiple you get in other games called Wanderer or Zilluan rather. But you do get multiple weapons, and they all play very differently. The sword plays like your usual sort of Dynasty Warrior style combat, like basically button mashing, but you get to press the Y or triangle button on occasion to do a different combo. But all the other ones do that very much do their own, more often than not do their own thing. Like for example, with the wheel weapon, you throw the wheels out. With the lance, you can charge up the attack, and the more times you hit, the stronger the attack is. And all the weapons are general. Like obviously, there's some weapons I like more than others. I'm not massive on the gauntlets, for example, but I still think every weapon is like quite fun, and I don't really begrudge using them.
Okay.
Now, considering the original mainline has 9 games, do you have to play any of those to understand the story for this, or is it a reboot?
Not that I've noticed. I've never really gotten. I've never really been confused confused at all. It feels more like this is sort of like, just sort of an origin story more than anything, really.
So how much does it dive into? Because the other story the other ones do is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Yeah, all 9 games were basically that.
Yeah, so presumably this is doing the same thing.
Yeah, so we're sort of establishing it, because it kind of starts off with the leaders of the Three Kingdoms, I think, kind of like fighting together, but then around chapter 3 you still have to pick a side.
Right.
Of course. So do you mind if I ask this one, Elliot? I'm a bit put off by the whole point of you don't get all these multiple characters. That's the thing I really liked about the Hyrule Warriors games and the Fire Emblem Warriors games. The fact it was worth experimenting with all these different fighters, and even in the other Dynasty Warriors games, I liked experimenting.
Well, again, you do get different weapons, and they all have very different movesets and work very differently from one another. Like you have a number of other skills you can unlock throughout the game. Some are universal that you can use with any weapon, while there are some that you can only use with one weapon.
I mean, maybe when I try it, I'm going to think differently. But again, that's still not quite the same thing. It's still not quite this idea. Like I wouldn't.
You do play as other characters, but it's similar to what they did in Fake Samurai Remnant, where you have one universal character and the other, but you can go into battle on occasion with another ally who sort of charges up to the point where you can use them, and they are like especially powerful. Like my sense on it is, from where they are at the start of the game, is how powerful you will eventually become.
And they're not trying to do tons of fan service, like say a Hyrule Warriors or a Fire Emblem Warriors.
No, see, with this kind of game, you can get away with just having one character, because there's not they're not being very fan servicey with it, I don't think.
Like say, for example, when we get to Switch 2, say Xenoblade Warriors gets announced, you wouldn't want that.
There's so much fan service of a different kind.
You wouldn't want in that game to say, for example, only have the original character that they created for it. You'd want to have access to Rex and Shulk and Noah and Mio and all those characters.
Yeah, the Mithra for Cal.
Yeah.
That's actually going to be interesting. How are they going to handle Pyra and Mithra if they do that one? Are they going to do like Smash Brothers where they swap back and forth?
Probably.
Well, probably one thing with this game that I do actually really that I wasn't sure I would like at first, but I do actually really like. You don't really get any objectives.
Right.
You do get things, like there are some time things that will either give you a major benefit in battle or will give you a major disadvantage in battle, that you have to sort of defeat a certain amount of enemies or defend someone for a certain amount in a certain amount of time or for a certain amount of time. But for the overall battle, games as they see best, you do whatever you want.
Okay, well,
what's the overall objective then per map?
Basically defeat a certain leader.
Right.
You are pointed out which skirmishes there are, like skirmishes and battles between sort of commanders there are, and you're basically told, and that's basically the game subtly going, hey, go there and help out. But sometimes you don't need to, you still need to pick out which ones are best for you to go to and which ones aren't. And strangely enough, I really love that.
So
the game giving you the freedom to just do whatever you want. Like there's an overall objective, you can do whatever you want to reach it. I genuinely think that's a really fun idea.
So do the environments a lot more open to cover for that, more loose?
Yeah, the environments are very open.
That's good.
There's very few linear corridors or things like that.
That's something that definitely plagued some. For example, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. That one was
fair. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, there's a lot of things that Dynasty Warriors games doesn't do. Like that game doesn't really have that many of the keeps for you to to defend and capture. This game really does embrace that.
Right, I see. So, so this sounds like it's really worth a purchase at this point in time, especially if you like Warriors games.
Like this game has 79 from both users and critics. I think it should be a lot higher. This game, honest to God, I think this game is a ton of fun. I think this is also a good entry point for Dynasty, for people who want to get into Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, good, because that was going to be my question at the end of it. Is it a good jumping on point?
I mean, I think it is. I'm someone who's very who's not in the slightest familiar with Dynasty Warriors, and I thought this game was great.
I'm gonna have to check this one out. I think I will. So
I highly recommend it. It's great.
But of course, Ali, the most important question is Kong Ming in it? Your boy?
No.
0 out of 10.
Unfortunately.
It's trash.
Hey, we wouldn't be having him sing any of the songs anyway.
Okay, so final game to talk about one of your favorite franchise, Elliot, Vanguard.
Start by Vanguard, dear days.
How does this compare?
Exactly. Yes.
How does it compare?
Good news, Vanguard fans. We finally have a second game that came out for us. Hooray!
So after 20 years,
how does it compare to other Vanguard games? Because I do see you play a lot of that Vanguard game. Comes up on my Switch indicator saying Elliot is playing this right now.
Well, it's the only one, and the main thing they've done is they basically expanded the story. So like you do have an original story, and it's essentially a continuation of that. And they've also added in a lot more cards because the first year days only really had cards from the Overdress series, and even then they didn't even have all the cards. It was quite behind. This time, however, has all the cards from Overdress, and they have the first 3 packs from Divines, which covers the first season, I believe. And on top of that, something that a lot of people were really excited for, they brought back vintage Vanguard, so like the first 6 packs of the original Vanguard series.
Oh, so I'll be able to pick up and play Dimensional Police then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
As long as it is based within the first season, I imagine they're going to be expanding it out as time goes on. We already do have DLC, like a season pass and DLC confirmed.
Right. Okay. Online multiplayer, is that functioning well?
I have not done online multiplayer yet. So far, I've just been trying to unlock all the cards.
I suppose
you can like, I think, just buy the cards. Like in game, there's no sort of pay and you get X many amount of packs. All the game, everything uses in-game currency, and it's incredibly easy to get.
Oh, that's
like one match.
It's like the old Yu-Gi-Oh games then.
Yeah, like one match, and you have enough to buy like at least 5 packs.
So it's really rewarding people that want to get into the game, for example, or just want to get into that online multiplayer as fast as possible.
Yeah, because you can I think you can buy on Steam at least. There's like DLC where you can get 4 of every single card in a booster pack. Which I do like, but I personally enjoy the unlocking of them and then building up the decks.
Okay.
Yeah, so you prefer the whole journey of it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, that sounds really cool, Elliot. How does the story mode work out?
Story mode is fun. Is like all the Yu-Gi-Oh games. It's just a card fight, but it's a story that's very reminiscent of Vanguard, like people finding a lot of meaning and connection within the card games, and it does expand on the original game's story really well.
Put it this way, whenever Yu-Gi-Oh games tried to have a story, they often went a bit off the rails, like the time when they were all the reincarnations of the War of the Roses, or then there was the one when they were stuck in the virtual game for that 3-on-3 RPG. Then there was
I just played the World Championship games, which was basically just did the anime story, but you had your own original OC.
Yeah. So the World Championship games, to go slightly off topic, but we'll revisit later in the month when the whole collection comes out. Is that those games were made just to play the actual tournaments in real life?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about do you Reese, on this one?
Yeah.
The other thing, only Yu-Gi-Oh game that had a good storyline was that PS1 game where the rules were batshit for the actual card game.
Oh yeah, that's before the actual card game came out. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was Forbidden Memories is the popular one.
Yeah. Which isn't, I believe,
and it actually has a speedrunning community.
Yeah, a YouTuber I watch, Connor Dog, did a speed run of it, and it took him like 9 hours or something like that.
9 hours.
It's the game.
It was way worse years ago.
It's a game that is so tough to speedrun because everything is just so broken.
Yep, and you guys are going to experience that when those 14-game collections come out at the end of February. Because every Game Boy game is the same way. You start off with a terrible deck. None of your monsters have over 1,000 attack.
Yeah.
While all your opponents do. So you have to grind.
Or abuse the password system.
The most common tactic is to just get a Twin Thunder Dragon as quickly as you can.
Yep, or from Forbidden Memories, it was the Red Eyes Fusion, Misha Black Dragon.
Yeah,
that's the only monster in the game that has 3,500 attack and nothing could beat over it.
Oh, the black.
Well, it did have a blue. Some guys did have Blue Eyes Ultimate. If I remember.
I don't think that was in the original PS1 game.
It wasn't in Forbidden Memories. No, it was in it was in World Championship, but not in Forbidden Memories.
Yeah, I think it was in the later games. I don't think it was in the original.
Let's
Give me a second.
Because there's a funny story about that as well. Do you guys remember the original Yu-Gi-Oh movie with Anubis?
Oh yeah.
So Kaiba's ace from the end of that was the Blue Eye Shining Dragon, right?
Yeah.
No, it is in the game. Blue Eyes Ultimate is in the game.
Oh, is it? No.
Well, yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's only Kaiba that can get it.
Okay, I see. What about as you're saying, Reese?
Yeah, so for the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, you have to tribute a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
Yeah.
Which is all fine and dandy, except in the TCG, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon hadn't released yet. I wouldn't for several years.
I remember that, yeah.
So all the kids were coming out of the film going, oh, I'm going to play this. They legally couldn't for several years.
And even if you did, it would be 300 attack points weaker than Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So you'd have to hope.
Unless you had a dragon deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had a dragon deck, but I remember there's a good video done by Ilnej about the movie where he made the joke. Yes, the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, a card so rare and powerful that no one who actually knows how to play the game would ever keep one in their deck.
Yeah.
Yep, and it just goes to show as well, because Konami's just released, for like the 10th time, a new Blue Eye structure deck, and it's definitely not in there.
Exactly. Yeah. No one gave a shit about that movie, and no one gave a shit about that card.
Anyway, back to Vanguard.
Yeah, back to Vanguard, because this is...
There's one big issue that I had with the original Dia Days, which is that the AI literally cheated.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you who don't know, Vanguard is... more than any other card game relies on luck. Because every time you attack, you get this thing called a drive trigger, and there's like these little symbols on the top right-hand corner of the grade 0 cards that basically indicated you get an extra 10,000 power and an extra effective turn on the extra one. Like, so like a critical trigger deals 1 extra damage, draw trigger lets you draw a card, heal trigger lets you heal as long as you have more.
So you can do
opponent, stuff like that. So the AI basically stacks the trigger chance for your opponents and lowered it for you.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
So and I thought
and so that was a big complaint that I was hoping the second game would address, and it doesn't. It still cheats.
And I thought there was too much luck in the Pokemon TCG with the how many coin flips it relies on.
Nah, the AI still cheats. I consistently find that. Like, a lot of people on the Vanguard subreddit kept complaining, oh, the game cheats, it's really annoying. But people in the comments were like, well, there's a chance that could happen. I've had that happen to me in TCGs, in the actual game. It's not the fact that the opponents can just get miracle heals or miracle over triggers. is how consistently it happens. Compared to me, when my opponents seem to get every card they always need, and I get completely screwed over. Like, I need to build up my board. I get only cards that are really good at defense. I need to defend. I get cards that are good offensively. It's annoying when that happens.
I want to point out, though, Elliot is not turning into the Vanguard equivalent of Velicify. Don't look up who that is, Elliot.
Yep.
I know.
Trust me, don't look up who he is. It's so much better you don't do it, because he's basically one of those. He's basically the Pokemon equivalent of one of those clickbait assholes.
Yeah. Okay.
So your life will be so much better than mine and Reese's if you don't look him up. There's okay. So you think this is a very good Vanguard game? You're saying basically.
I think it is. I think it is good. I think it's really good. The one problem is, as I said, nobody's playing it, and nobody likely will. I'm currently on the Metacritic for it. There are no reviews. There's no critic scores. There's only one review from a user.
I'm guessing it's yours.
It is not, unfortunately, but it is a 10 out of 10.
So
it is yours, just on a burner account.
If you want my opinion, though, if you want to get into Vanguard, I do think this is a pretty good way. And let's be honest, considering the fact that there are very few Vanguard players, it's probably the only way.
To be fair, though, Vanguard, I would say, is currently, in terms of like the hierarchy of TCGs, probably in a third place.
I'd say it is definitely higher in Japan. Like a lot of people in Japan play it, but everywhere else they're going to struggle.
What about? Would you say there's more people playing it in Japan than Magic the Gathering?
I say so, probably, yeah.
Because there's a lot.
You need to remember Western media is not that popular in Japan.
Yeah.
Like compared to the sales of Nintendo and Sony consoles opposed to Xbox.
I see. Yeah. Okay, so Reese, let's talk a little bit about the Marvel Rivals updates, because hasn't been that much. We've had Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic coming in the time we've been gone.
And we've also had the Chinese New Year events.
Which was basically Rocket League.
Yep, which instead was just actual Lucio Ball from Overwatch 1.
And I didn't mind that one, because I got all the stuff to get the Star-Lord costume and the comic panel pretty quick.
Yeah, same. It was just a nice one distraction.
Yeah, and I did actually... they also released 2 new costumes, especially for Valentine's Day. Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman's wedding outfits to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the wedding issue from Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Can I say, Reed Richards looks way worse without a beard.
Yeah, that's what everyone else has been saying. Like, it really just suits it. Their character design.
But other than that, and obviously we're doing this a week out from the Thing and Human Torch coming in, so we can't comment on their play styles. I really like both Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. They both play quite well.
Yeah, but I think they've been really good. Like, she's my main support now, Invisible Woman.
Yeah,
it's dead easy to cheese enemy players, because she basically has force push from Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
So when people run by, you just push them off a cliff.
Have you actually done
how long until she gets force lightning?
Not sure how long that will be, but one of the things I do like. Have you ever done the double?
I could just imagine that happening and just someone spamming unlimited power.
No, have you done the double jump thing to turn her invisible and then go behind an enemy and attack them?
Yeah, because people always spam it because she starts auto-healing when you do that.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I still think I'm sticking with Jeff as my main support character.
Of course.
Because he just plays to my playstyle quite well. But also they added the new map, Midtown.
Yeah.
Which...
So basically the vampires take over New York yet again.
Yeah, Dracula is fighting the Fantastic Four in New York in this point in the storyline. And but it's the best map in the game so far, because essentially you got to get Herbie, the little robot from Fantastic Four, from the Baxter Building to Avengers Tower.
Yeah,
and and you get loads of like New York landmarks like Grand Central Station and the Fisk Building.
Yeah, there's tons of Easter eggs everywhere, like adverts for Daredevil.
Oh yeah, there's adverts for Matt Murdock's law practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, though, here's the thing. and again, they are hinting at a couple of characters in the comic panels that are coming that down. I'm actually one item away from finishing the Battle Pass.
I finished it the other night.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I lost today with a news item that we got coming up.
Yeah.
But, so I think so far, they really haven't stepped out of line. I even bought the Insomniac costume from Spider-Man.
I would, but I'm terrible as a character, so I didn't.
I did anyway, just because. I'm terrible.
Do you think
with
they
money.
want to add Miles Morales to it?
I think they have to at some point.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like you could make him a clone of Peter Parker, but at the end of the day, he's got the invisibility powers and he's got the shock ability. Why would you not want to? That gives you a whole new way to do a Spider-Man character.
Yeah, especially because in the comics now, Miles even has more powers to differentiate himself.
Exactly.
At this point in the comics, he can make a lightsaber out of bioelectricity.
That is
because of course he can.
Yeah, they've got to add
Miles is my favorite Marvel character, so yeah, I'm happy he's getting more shit to make him better.
Because otherwise about him, the only two Spider-Man reps are Spidey himself and Venom.
Penny Parker.
Yeah, but she's more legally distinct from also Dimension, though. And her powers are based around a mech, not actual webbing or being a spider.
Well, you can do that move where you web up opponents to stop them moving with those electro webs. Yeah. And, of course, she does yell out when
that's more of an actual net, though, compared to actual webbing.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. And to be fair, though, so I think, like, at the minute, they're not... I'm kind of waiting for that moment when Marvel Rivals is going to do something stupid that's going to cost them. But it hasn't happened yet.
No, I think it's been really good. They've been really good with their price structure. All the characters are free, all the levels are free, all the new modes are free.
Yeah,
it does have a 74 Metacritic.
Yeah.
That's about... I think it deserves a bit more than that.
And for users, it's 7.2.
I think in both cases it deserves more.
Yeah, same. I put it at least like an 8 myself personally.
I put it in my top 5 games of last year. Yeah, the weird thing for me...
But you are Marvel's bitch.
I keep telling you, I'm DC's bitch.
You're the only
and DC gets no games.
You're the only person I know who likes Wakanda Forever.
No, I know a couple. I know
the movie is terrible.
Yeah, I saw your pictures. I was disappointed.
The MCU.
I am. You can never have a conversation with Ash from Good Vibes Gaming ever, because he loves Wakanda Forever. He doesn't really like Twilight Princess. You two would kill each other.
He has bad taste.
Yep.
Twilight Princess is the best Zelda game. Shut up.
There's what do you call? Okay, so let me I'll say right now, I think at the minute, if you still want to get into Marvel Rivals, it's a really good time. And if you missed the first Battle Pass or the first comic panels, you can get those still in the game if you haven't started it.
Except you can't get any of the new costumes.
Some of the costumes do disappear, yes.
Yeah. So you can't get those in the Battle Pass, because I've got a friend who started in this season and is locked out of the old Battle Pass for the costumes.
Oh, that's a shame.
But you can buy the gallery painting pictures.
And you can also, you also will miss out on some of the event costumes. So if you didn't get Jeff's Cuddly Fuzzlefin costume,
from the winter event,
the where he gets the winter coat and the earmuffs.
He's also contractually obligated to talk about Jeff at every opportunity he has.
Or, for example, the lion head costume you get for Star-Lord for the Chinese New Year event. If you need to do that now, if you want to get that, because you can't. But you will be able to purchase Black Widow and Iron Fist Chinese New Year costumes, though, separately. I haven't, because I don't play as those characters enough.
Same.
Especially, I think Black Widow, she has the lowest usage of any character at the minute.
Yeah, she has the lowest pick rate and the lowest win rate, both of them combined.
Which is a shame, because I've actually faced some people play who are really good as Black Widow, and they can snipe me out of nowhere.
The problem is, though, she has a sniper rifle. It cannot one-shot kill you with a headshot. But Hawkeye, who uses a bow and arrow, can one-shot kill you.
That is weird. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But I will say they have introduced the only thing I don't like about the new map is it's very difficult to get to use Jeff's ult in any reasonable fashion.
Because there's no cliffs.
There's only one cliff towards Avengers when you get to right towards Avengers Tower, and that's it.
Yeah, and if you're on a defending team and the enemy's that far, you've pretty much lost anyway.
Yes, exactly. So, all in all, we're pretty happy with how Marvel Rivals is continuing. Though I don't think we're going to make it a regular segment every time they do an update, because we'll have a lot more to talk about in the future.
Yeah.
So, news
If
item.
if that does happen, the entire time you'll just hear me bashing my head against my keyboard.
So if you
While
hear
playing Vanguard in the background.
So if you're allowed, so if you're allowed bang, it's Elliot's head exploding out of disappointment.
No, you'll hear several loud bangs, including one final juicy one.
So let's move on to the news items.
Hey, but that could really matter.
First thing to talk about is the thing that happened last month while we were on sabbatical, which is the Switch 2 got announced. Finally. And we got a small video showing it's a bigger screen, it's bigger Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are going to have like a mouse-like function. And apparently that's extending to the Pro Controller according to some patent filings that have been found. And
that was kind of awkward. I hope the mouse bit is more an attachment to it rather than in the controller itself.
Yeah, from what
otherwise that would likely make it feel really uncomfortable or just really awkward to use.
Well, we've got to wait.
Yeah, because from what we saw in the trailer, to do the mouse thing, you just turn the Joy-Con on its side and then move it around like that.
But with the Pro Controller, I mean, that would just be kind of weird.
Yeah,
that's the same, because if you try to do that to a Pro Controller, you just put the controller on its side.
Yeah,
it's like a joystick.
Yeah, that is going to look a bit weird if you do it like that. Or I thought they might do it like that, but then you're hitting the like upside down. But I thought then you might end up hitting the trigger buttons. So
I was thinking like they would put like an attachment that you could put on like the back of it and then move it around like that.
I anticipate that's where they're going with it, or there'll be like a small touchscreen on the top panel part of it.
Yeah. But hey, on the plus side, guess what, Space? You can now play Doom the way it was intended to.
Hey.
And
Cal is still banned no matter the platform it's on.
God damn it. So let's move. Let's talk about the other thing they showed off, which was we got a small snippet of a Mario Kart game.
Yeah, about 10 seconds long.
We didn't get to see much of it, but it does look like there's going to be 24 competitors at once. So that's going to make online multiplayer very interesting.
That's going to make it so chaotic.
And
the map they showed off was gigantic.
Another thing...
My question is, if that's the case, how will item balancing work?
That's going to be interesting to see.
Either they're going to have to add a ton of more items, or they're going to make it like a lot more difficult to get to first place. Like, oh, you're back in 12th, but you're back in 12th. The best you could get is the 3 green shells and a banana.
But the plus side is as well, though, is we're not going to have to wait long to find out more about it, because they've announced that we're going to have a Switch 2 Direct on April the 2nd. And we're actually going to time our Professional and Unprofessional for April to be the first Friday after the Switch 2 Direct, so we can have a proper talk about it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, so how do we feel about this brief look we got at the Switch 2? Because I thought the decision to show this brief look and then say we're going to have a proper Direct on this date was a genius marketing campaign.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about the Joy-Cons. Specifically the fact that they plug in, you don't just attach them onto it. They actually, there's a little plug you have to plug them into.
Yeah.
If that plug is faulty, then you're screwed.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. How do we feel about the idea that this thing's gonna that we're gonna now get Switch games in 4K when docked?
I think that's cool.
Yeah, it as long as it runs consistently, that'd be great.
Yeah. If any company can do a smooth transition into 4K, it's gonna be Nintendo. Like they are. That being said, they didn't have a smooth transition to HD gaming with the Wii U. That took them a little bit to get the hang of. So do we think we're gonna get a Wii U situation or a or are they going to do it a bit better this time with their transition to 4K?
I don't think the games will be. I don't know. I think 4K is going to be a bit more difficult because obviously it's also handheld, and I don't think the Switch screen itself is going to be 4K.
No, it's not. From what I've heard, it's going to be 720p or 1080p at absolute most.
So that's going to make it a bit more iffy.
That's okay. So Mario Kart, I think, is a smart. We agree. We think Mario Kart is a launch title because they wouldn't show it in this trailer if they weren't planning to launch the game console with it.
Oh, bloody better be.
Oh wait, guys, major topic of discussion. DK has his movie design and looks horrible.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I think they've all the designs for all the characters have kind of been inspired by the movie.
Yeah, but
they've done kind of the illumination look a little bit.
I don't really like the Donkey Kong illumination look, if I'm honest. So I'm a bit disappointed by that decision. But here's the other. So let's look at the. What do we think is the chances of the Switch 2 will launch with either of the big Nintendo first-party games that have been announced so far, which have 2025 release dates on, which are Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends ZA?
I'd say Metroid Prime 4 is more likely.
I agree.
Because we've actually seen stuff of that. Meanwhile, with Pokemon, we don't know where that is yet.
We'll probably find out in a couple of weeks because I reckon they'll have a direct around Pokemon Day.
Yeah, that's what I was anticipating with all the leaks that have come out.
And I'm also going to make a bold prediction, actually. I think Pokemon Legends ZA does not natively come to Switch 2. I think it'll be Switch only, very similar to what Pokemon Company have done in the past with things like the DS to 3DS move. If you remember that one, when the 3DS first came out, they were still putting out games like Black and White 2 on the DS. And like Pokemon Conquest was on DS. Pokemon Company does do this a lot of the time. They don't tend to go cross-gen.
That's true.
So I could imagine that we're only going to get a Switch 1 version of Legends ZA. We're not going to get a Switch 2 version.
With Legends, I can see that, but with Metroid Prime, that's absolutely going to come out on both systems.
Oh yes, I absolutely agree. I believe Metroid Prime 4 will come out on both systems. Is that do you reckon that launch day with Mario Kart? For the lack of a better term, let's say Mario Kart 9 for now.
I think they kind of have to.
Yeah. Well, especially after development's restarted like 10 times now.
It's very much a Breath of the Wild situation where it's taken so long.
And I think
to come out. It kind of has to come out on launch day.
Yeah, it's very weird to think that that Metroid Prime 4 was announced at the first E3 after the Switch came out.
That was announced at the very beginning of the Switch, and now it's taking this long to come out.
And now it won't make the Switch being the only console Nintendo has on the market. That is really bizarre to think about when you think about it.
That's so bizarre.
Because it was like for ages there was 3 games that we would felt like vaporware, but 2 of them eventually came out, which was Bayonetta 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. But we now have. I do think Metroid Prime 4. I'm with you guys. I think Metroid Prime 4 will be at launch. I think Mario Kart and Metroid Prime 4 are a brilliant 1-2 punch to launch the system. Here's the question I have, though. How many people do you think are going to be won over by the idea to get the Switch 2 for Mario Kart? Because why would they not just say, well, I can just keep my Switch and play Mario Kart 8 because I really like Mario Kart 8?
Because it's something new. And Mario Kart, Mario Kart 8 is good. But it's 10 years old.
Yeah, but you got to remember that how many copies have been sold? That's not people who are really into buying loads of games a year I've got that. I mean, how many has it sold now? It's like 60 million copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
And we also have to bear in mind as well when Mario Kart 9 does release, it won't have nearly as much content as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has.
And the
DLC pass.
And the trailer did confirm all the Mario Karts. Most Switch games will be backwards compatible both physically and digitally with the Switch 2, which is great. My other concern is transferring save data, because I'm wondering how easy that's going to be compared to like transferring save data between switches. Like when we got our Switch OLEDs, we transferred our save data to that. Because some games don't support the cloud system, mainly Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and Pokemon.
I mean, if it doesn't, I'm not getting rid of my Switch, so that doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
It's more I
don't keep my consoles in the attic. I actually like to use them.
Yeah, no, I just want to know what I'm dealing with. So presumably that's going to be updated at a later date, but it's going to be in terms of other factors as well. How do you guys feel about two things I want to ask about? Backwards compatibility being completely, it was already confirmed, but they confirmed now it's definitely going to be both digital and physical backwards compatibility, and the name. So I'll start with the backwards compatibility. How do you guys feel about that?
Great. It needed it.
I feel like that's kind of an obvious question with an obvious answer.
Yeah, that is. It's more.
I don't think there's anyone out there who's going to be like, "Oh, I wish it wasn't backwards compatible. I want the Switch 2 to be on its own."
I was kind of worried it wouldn't be physically backwards compatible. It would only be digitally backwards compatible. But it's.
Why would it not be physically?
Sorry.
Why would it not be physically?
Because I thought, well, they're going to design things to get more power out of it. They might design cartridges that are not compatible with the current Switch cartridges. What about? Okay, so what do we think about which games do you reckon are going to get those upgrade treatments done? Because I think I think there's a couple of games that need them. Like Echoes of Wisdom needs it. Scarlet and Violet need it.
That needs a lot more than just a simple power boost.
Yeah. Is there any games? Because I've heard talks about a Breath of the Wild remaster.
Mario Odyssey.
Really,
Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, I think Mario Odyssey.
I think will be upgraded.
I think that one could have the treatment. Although that being said, that might take a while because I'm going to wager at the Switch Direct. The thing that closes Switch 2 Direct, the thing that closes it is the new 3D Mario.
I don't think so. I think we might be. It might be announced this year, but I don't think it's gonna be I don't know what it's gonna be.
I think that's end of the year. I don't think it's a launch title because I reckon Switch 2 launches in June, July, that sort of time, and new 3D Mario will come October, November. Like, it's a good thing to have. Like, let's be honest though, it's been so long since Mario Odyssey. We really are due a new 3D Mario.
I mean, the 3D Marios are kind of a one per system kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and the Switch 2 is due it. The Switch 2 was going to have to eventually get it. So why not now? Yeah,
so looking back at Mario Odyssey, that was 2017 that released.
So, God, it's been over 5 years now. They must have been making something.
Over 5 years? It's been 7.
Well, 8 this year, Elliot.
We're not at 8 yet, though. It still doesn't count.
So, what about the name, the Switch 2? Because I think some people have had it.
It's like saying, oh, Super Mario Social, that's like 2003. That was like 3 months ago.
What about...
Well, can't say over 5 years, so he's technically still correct.
Yeah, but I'm more thinking about typical game development, particularly from Nintendo, I'm thinking, on this one. So that's why I went to that 5 years thing, because that's generally between releases what you should generally expect.
This is Calvin once more. Calvin's attempt just to go, hey guys, listen, look, I know game knowledge. I'm smart. Please pay attention to me. This is my obsession.
What do you think about the name Switch 2? Because some people have...
Kind of dumb.
Sorry?
Kind of dumb. I think it could have been more creative.
What about you, Reese?
Well, it's better than Wii U.
Yeah, it's better than Wii U. I think I like it for the main reason being that people are not going to make the mistake that they did with the Wii U of we're going to keep this marketing that's done us we're going to keep this name that's done us very well, but we're going to make it very clear this is something new. This is not an upgrade to your current platform that you may or may not need. Because some people...
Yeah, because Yeah, because with the Wii U, they thought it was an attachment to a lot of people rather than a successor.
And you can hardly blame them, considering the way that Nintendo used the Wii branding at the time.
In all fairness, with the Wii U, at first they only really showed off the gamepad. Meanwhile, with the Switch, people will be like, "Oh yeah, this is 100% a new one."
And I think, I reckon this is going to sell very well when it first comes out. So I reckon this is going to be one you're going to be fighting to get one of these in the first year.
Yeah, especially with scalpers.
That goes without saying.
My other big hope is really going to be that they'll keep up the really good third-party support that they've had since launch. Because let's be honest, there are going to be other Switch games that will come out. Like, there's probably going to be a new Kirby that comes to Switch before the Switch 2 comes out. Around the time the Switch 2 comes out, there's probably going to be a couple of other smaller projects.
What do you guys think about Splatoon 4 on Switch 2?
Well, that's going to come eventually.
Yeah, that's definitely going to come eventually.
Yeah. Think it'll be early on or later in the life cycle?
Probably a couple years in.
Yeah, I reckon about 2 years in we'll get.
We still have Splatoon 3. We're still getting Splatfest with that.
I
Usually it's a couple of years after, like a year or two after those stop again. That's why a new one.
Like, take for example, like the reason why we got a Splatoon 2 so early on in the Switch's life cycle is that it wasn't going to be backwards compatible with the Wii U, and people loved Splatoon. Like, that was a huge hit in Japan. I
was one of those people.
Yeah.
Of course.
They needed a Splatoon close to launch on the Switch. Which, incidentally, was one of the games I got when I bought a Switch. I got Splatoon 2 and Breath of the Wild and Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Of course you get the Sonic game.
It came out on my birthday. I had to get it.
Any excuse.
There's
Motherfucker, one of the open season films came out on my birthday. I didn't go see that.
Elliot, sacrilege.
Funny thing is, there's a character in that name who has the same name as me, so that was kind of weird.
That's weird. Anyway, I think
one big thing with the Switch 2 that actually makes me really excited is mostly with the port situation.
Yeah.
Mostly the fact that with the Switch, so many of those games are ports, but as they're backwards compatible, we don't need those ports. We're not gonna get any more of those ports. Meaning, not only we're going to be getting more new games, hopefully, also potentially other ports people might want more.
I'm not entirely sure about that. I think a couple of games will get the treatment. Like, I'm expecting Zelda to get that treatment.
I'm not saying we're not going to. I'm saying we're going to get less.
We're definitely going to get it less.
Obviously, I would be a hypocrite if I said I don't want any more ports. I'm still begging for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to come to Switch.
I think they are coming.
But we're definitely going to be getting less, and that makes me very excited.
So, yeah, I would say Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are sometime this year. I would put a wager on that.
You've been saying that for the last 3 years, Calvin. You've been wrong every time.
And I don't understand.
It's Hollow Knight Silk Song all over again.
And I don't understand why they haven't done
this year's the year.
But the weird thing is, I know from... If I'm going by trusted sources, Nintendo's had these games done for ages, and they've just not decided to put them out there. I don't get why.
How many of those sources also said there's going to be a new Banjo-Kazooie game?
Only one.
Well, we're waiting.
And he has said it's only been greenlit. It's not in very active development.
Stop coping.
I think we'll see Banjo at some point. Don't know when, but we'll see it at some point.
He's been saying that since he came to Smash Bros. It's not happening.
I think I'm very excited for Switch 2 Direct. I really don't want to do predictions in it because knowing Nintendo, God knows what they might show off on this thing.
I don't want to do predictions. He says 10 minutes after spending 30 minutes doing a bunch of predictions.
The only one I'm going to make in terms of like new releases is 3D Mario.
My one prediction with it is I'm going to burn my toast because it's a terrible toaster.
Reese, do you have any predictions for the Switch 2 Direct?
Possibly a new Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right sort of time for a new Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, because it's been like,
Yeah,
what,
it's
3-4 years?
It's coming out Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't do the.
I mean, first, I don't really do predictions anyway. I just like to go in blind and geek out.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I think this time, knowing Nintendo, I reckon they've got some very interesting things. They know they've got to really hype this up because they need the massive Switch install base to upgrade, and they've got to convince us it's worth it to upgrade in the first year. So,
and it also begs the question: do we think the Switch 2 will eventually be as successful as the original Switch?
No. I think
Probably not.
I think it's going to be very successful. I think it will sell more than 100 million units in its lifetime, but I don't think it will sell the near 140 million that the Switch currently is at. So, next subject is PlayStation, and what a yo-yo week they had.
Yeah.
So, well, for some people said it was a dump truck week, but I disagree with them. So let's start with the biggest failure they had. The PlayStation Network went down for nearly 20 hours over one weekend.
Yep, and it directly impacted me.
Yeah, no, it impacted me. I couldn't access a lot.
I say except...
Yeah, no, me and Elliot were out for most of that day, so we were able to avoid it. But
being nerds at Glory Hammer, how dare you two have fun and go outside?
But there's it was a bit, but it did trouble me in one sense, which is I did lost access to a lot of my single player games that I had digital files of.
And this is why you buy physical. But
at the end of the day, I just thought this is a real worry for like the all digital future that is inevitably going to happen. Because I've made that prediction. I'm standing by that the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox will be digital only.
You can keep saying that all you want. It's not true.
Yeah, they will still sell a disc drive at the very least.
I'm just saying it's a prediction at this point. I'm not saying I think I have knowledge on that.
I mean, in all fairness, with life, with things happening in life at the minute, I'm likely going to be going all digital in the future.
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, digital does help me out on several regards. I don't live in a town that has a primary market game shop, for example. So it's my choices at that point. I've got to rely on good online sellers like Amazon, like maybe do Amazon, but I don't really like using Amazon that much.
Use other sites and other sites aside from Amazon.
And then there's Game. The Game often doesn't get it to me on the day on the day of release.
And the stores for Game in the Travel Centre have been terrible for years, so I can't get anything from there.
No, I've
I used to get all my games from Game for a while because I could pre-order it online and pick it up in the store. They've stopped doing that now. As a matter of fact, they've gotten rid of their games point system. I had over £200 worth saved up on that. I was going to use that on the Switch too, you bastards.
There was and also the other factor is if I want to go into a game and pick up a pre-order, I've essentially got to spend an extra £6 each time because that's how much it costs to get a train ticket to Liverpool. The cheapest. Now, let's say I did that twice a month. Let's just say twice a month, and I'm buying the game full price. So that's £70. That's an extra £12 on top of the 140 I've already spent. So there is making sure that digital marketplace is good for its customers is very valid. And when you have this system in place where it needs to do these validation checks.
Yeah, you say I was like a big complaint. I'm doing that once a week, so I can hear you talk about Pokemon when we start streaming.
Ha! It does kind of worry me on that sense that I lost access to a large portion of my library. Especially considering as well, the digital file does guarantee you're going to play it on opening day.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not as if we haven't had a bit of a glimpse of the all digital future because, again, PC's been doing that for ages. It's why when me and Elliot went to a shop in Germany, we found it very bizarre that there was a place selling physical PC games.
Yeah, it was pretty weird seeing Baldur's Gate 3 physical on PC.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
It's because most people still buy an external disk drive now. It just
How
plugs into
many
a USB
PCs
port.
even have a disk drive nowadays?
Yeah,
It's cheaper to buy on Amazon. Just as a standalone.
My laptop doesn't come with one. I had to get an external one when I was putting still getting albums.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. With how much are those external disk drives actually costing you as well?
It's like 20 quid.
Yeah, but it's cheap.
But again,
it's really not expensive.
But again, you got to remember, look how expensive, say, PlayStation's disk drives are for the PS5 digital versions and the Pro.
That's PlayStation though. But have you seen how much they're charging the PlayStation VR for?
Yeah, but here's the point. Yeah, but here's the point I'm getting to. That requires an internet connection for the installation. So if PSN is down, you potentially aren't even going to be able to get your physical versions working. So
that first check for the disk drive is only when you first attach it. After that, it does not need to do a check again.
Yeah, I grant you of that one, but it does bother me that these things are so tied to the internet now, considering that good internet access is not a thing everyone can get.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's live in Greece. You lucky bastards.
Or Sweden. Yeah, they've also Sweden, and I think Estonia's also signed on to the good internet connection is a human right idea, which I think we should have that in the UK. There's a bit. If we're not going to upgrade our internet to be like Korea's, why don't we do what Sweden and Greece have done, of say access to the internet is a human right? Because if you think about it, you can't do much of anything now without an internet connection. You need it to sign up for a job. You need it to you need banking. You need it to do. If you don't have access to that, you are really struggling to just function.
Yeah, because all three of my local branches around me, NatWest, RBS, and Santander, have all shut down. It's just ATMs now. So you can't go in and like cash checks or anything.
Yeah, I'm surprised the NatWest is in my hometown is still there, because the high street is dying out repeatedly.
Yeah. My local town still has a Halifax, and we still have a Lloyd's.
Not anymore. One of them moved away. It's just Lloyd.
That's okay. I'm with Lloyd's.
There's but the other thing that happened this week was they did get it back online relatively quickly. Pretty much as soon as the Gloryhammer show finished, it was, oh yeah, we got it up and running.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Kel all throughout it, because it went down literally on around midnight, just when I was going to play the Monster Hunter beta. I started up again.
Now the good news is Capcom did add 24 hours onto the beta because of the PlayStation outage. That was very good of them.
Especially because they've done it for all platforms as well, not just PlayStation.
Yes, so
so PC and Xbox players get it longer as well.
So that's good of them.
Supremacy.
So that's a good. That was also good of
them. We get an extra hour for your fuck up.
Well, of course, the whole thing was to test out the crossplay feature, which, by the way, that is going to make that game so much better now in terms of like the multiplayer functionality.
Yeah, it means I can get it on my PC instead of my PS5.
Yeah, because all along, Monster Hunter has never had crossplay for some reason.
I'm sad they haven't done that. At least, I suppose with we just got to sign up with our Capcom accounts, and that'll probably be how they do it.
Yeah.
So
probably.
Well, we can actually start talking about Monster Hunter because we can move into the next item, which was 2 days ago from when we recorded this. Sony had a state of play.
Yay!
And Monster Hunter was the opener for it, which to me was a bit of a weird decision that they opened with Monster Hunter, considering it was coming out a week later. But they did announce the first spring update would have Mitsune, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, Mitsune, one of the other flagship from Generations.
But there was a lot.
But even though we just had her in Monster Hunter Rise come back, so it feels redundant to have her there and then bring her back for the next game.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It did sort of remove the big deal of her coming back in Rise. But Monster Hunter Wilds is looking amazing.
Yeah, it plays fantastic. I've done both betas now. It handles great. It looks great.
I've seen it in every game presentation since it was first announced, and to be quite honest, I'm a little sick of it.
Good news is it's coming. It's coming out in 2 weeks, Elliot. After that, they're going to just stick to their own channel for updates.
Oh, they'll find a way. They'll find a bloody way to get Jeff Keighley to talk about it again.
I'm so looking forward to him exploding when it shows up in a Nintendo Direct. And you know it's going to happen because the Nintendo is where they get a lot of Monster Hunter sales.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a number of exclusive games.
So there was a lot of good stuff though in this in this state of play. I think a highlight for me was Metal Gear Solid Delta getting a release date of August the 28th,
which did leak the week prior.
Yeah,
by mistake.
Yeah, that wasn't even like it was someone guessed it. It was actually showed up on the PlayStation Store page, and they quickly took it down.
Yeah, that's a very surprising thing actually with this Direct. So many things got release dates.
Yeah,
released windows.
Yeah, like they showed off that new Sonic Racing game again, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, kind of trying to do the transform thing again. They don't give a release date, but they're going to have a beta.
No, they did. You did give a release date.
Yeah, it just said 2025.
Oh no, the closed network is right.
The closed network is next week. Which me and Reese can't take part in because we're in London.
Of course.
And I'm not going to take part in because I got Yakuza.
Oh, it's a shame because that showed up actually in this thing. Lots of Yakuza.
It's a shame I've got to play my Sonic. I need to play my Blue Fairy game. Cargo Zoom.
Yeah, lots of Yakuza content in this thing, including they showed up a new trailer for the pirate game. And there's
sick.
Big thing.
Cannot wait.
Big thing for me though, Dave the Diver crossover happening.
Yeah, they're very unexpected.
That's really out of nowhere. That one. I'm going to buy the Like a Dragon crossover and play that one. I love the idea of a Dave the Diver crossover with Yakuza.
I mean, I'm one of the few people who didn't really like Dave the Diver that much.
So what else have we got coming up? There was a few
a game that I've been excited for a long while actually, because I remember when this game was announced like probably 9 years ago, or whatever it was. Lost Soul Aside. Yeah,
Lost Soul Aside finally looks like that's coming out soon.
That game looks so fucking sick.
Yeah,
didn't impress.
Like the combat in it looks so insane.
Lies of P DLC coming in the summer.
I'm so excited for that. That was like the highlight for me.
That was
so he gets to go to Disney World.
Yay!
There was another update for Stellar Blade. This time a crossover with Nikkei.
Yeah, which is that phone gacha game.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, my first thought was who?
Yeah, it's not as recognized.
Wait, Stellar Blade's doing a crossover with Nike?
It's a bit of.
I was wondering what you're doing in my horny game.
It's a bit weird that it's doing it, that we didn't get. It's not as recognizable as say 2B, for example, for the Nier Automata crossover.
2B. Did you say 2P?
No, I said 2B.
It's not like it's a 2P. I'm going to be honest.
Don't
have to listen to it back alley in the recording afterwards.
Yeah, that's the problem. That will require me watching this. You didn't listen to the shit we make. No thanks.
There was a few updates for PSN. The Armored Core games from PS1 are coming over. Patapon.
Yep. So that's the first 3 games.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sick.
Patapon 3 coming to it, which I like. I love the first 2 Patapon games. I'm excited to replay.
Onimusha 2 is coming. Can't wait. We're not getting the first one, but okay.
It's a good remaster. Yeah. It sounds like it's a proper remaster as well. So it's great, and they showed another trailer for the new Onimusha game that's coming next year.
It looks like that game is taking a bit of influence from Yakuza, mostly with the goofiness.
Yeah, I definitely.
And don't forget his biggest inspiration, Forspoken now.
Wait.
Because at the end of the trailer, he also has a talking glove.
It's got to be better than Forspoken.
It's better than Forspoken.
What about there was a few...
One game I'm so excited for is the Midnight Walk.
Yeah,
that's like the claymation one.
Yes.
Like, it looks so beautiful. I'm so getting that one.
Yeah, every time I see that, it impresses me more and more.
I love claymation shit. I love stop motion, and this game looks just like everything I love from that genre. I'm gonna absolutely be playing that. So it looks so good.
We got the new, we got a release date, a March release date for the new game from the It Takes Two studio.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to that one. Yeah, Split Fiction looks sick.
Yeah, Split Fiction looks really cool. It's coming out way sooner than I expected.
Yeah, that's something we could potentially stream.
Yeah, especially considering that it's probably not going to be easy for me to play, for either of us to play that by ourselves.
Yeah. One that I'm surprised Reese hasn't brought up yet, a new Digimon.
Yep, I was waiting for my time for that.
Yep.
So it's a new Digimon story game following on from Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, which was in 2015 first Cyber Sleuth came out.
I do have both those games on Switch. I never got around to it yet, though.
They are some of the best RPGs you can play for Digimon.
I've heard.
Very highly recommend them.
And but the thing is as well, are they going to nail the story with this one? Because
yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, it looked like a really dark, dystopian kind of story, and then it's just that the only thing that can save us is Digimon. I burst out laughing.
Well, that's happens in the other story games, Elliot. It's exactly the same way.
I'm wondering though.
But this title's been in development since 2017.
Wow.
Because of how it's been referenced through development conferences.
What about...
instead of focusing on the usual villains, it's on the Olympus 12, which is on a whole different server to the usual digital world we see.
So, do you think they're going to take...
say that like that means anything to me? My knowledge of Digimon is incredibly minuscule.
What about...
Well, it means a lot to actual Digimon fans, because it's the most representation that they've got in years, the Olympus 12.
So what about, again, I'm wondering, are they going to is it going to go in darker places after the success of Digimon Survive?
Yeah, undoubtedly. Because the original story games were dark as well.
Yeah, but...
themes of death and people having their minds erased and turned into zombies.
Yeah, God.
There's also Eldritch horrors as well.
God,
Digimon. Both of the games.
I keep forgetting it.
Going to don't hack vibe then. That's sick.
Yeah, Digimon can go to dark places when they don't have to entertain kids.
Yeah.
We got a new fucking what are they called? The guys who made Until Dawn.
Oh, yes, Supermassive Games. Yeah, they're doing a new space horror game that sort of is basically across a mix of The Thing and Alien.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it was. It just reminds me of The Thing.
Yeah, like I watched that and it's like, this is The Thing. You're doing the plot of The Thing.
Now I saw that. I was thinking, this is just Alien. Then I saw it can take on shape of any of us. I just went, yeah, this is The Thing.
It's it does. I hope it's good because some of their games have been amazing. I really like The Quarry.
I'm mixed on The Quarry. I like Until Dawn, but everything else I've been mixed on.
Yeah, and God help us when the film version of we get to see the film of that in a couple of months.
Yeah.
They also announced that they announced and released that Dynasty Warriors Abyss, the Dynasty Warriors roguelike, and I've been playing a bit of it.
I have not played it yet, but I am intrigued.
It's really good.
Oh,
it's really good. It kind of uses like an elemental system for like the roguelike, similar to it's kind of similar in many ways to Xenoblade 2. In that sense of like the mixing and matching, and you get upgrades for how many versions of that emblem you can get with different fighters.
That is really cool. I have said many times I'm not a big fan of Xenoblade, but I do realize the elementals in Xenoblade 2. That was really sick.
I will say though, it's very fan servicey for people who like Dynasty Warriors games. This is not as easy a jump off point as Origins is like. It'll be because
it feels like a very fan servicey game.
Yes, it's very much a case of you'll understand these characters a lot more if you've played a lot of Dynasty Warriors. But it does have the addictive nature that any good roguelike has done. And when I saw the trailer for it, I was kind of like, yeah, why haven't we had a Warriors roguelike? That makes so much sense.
Mm.
One thing I don't
one that I'm really interested in, Hell Is Us.
That looks all right.
That was first shown up at Gamescom last year. It looks really cool.
There was also the one thing I think was a big mistake. Not a lot of PlayStation first party at this.
Hey, we got the Days Gone remastered.
That was
out.
Yeah, Days Gone remastered. Why is that a thing? Like,
I think, in all fairness, a lot of people do actually like that game, and they were kind of upset when PlayStation said they're not getting a sequel to it.
Haven't they closed down the studio that makes Days Gone?
I don't think so. Have they?
Or is it just that they've basically stopped them from making that sequel?
I think it was just a sequel. I remember Bend Studio.
It's Bend Studio that makes it, I believe.
No, they're still going.
Oh, because I was going to say, if Bend Studio had been shut down, who's making this? But
I think what happened wasn't like the CEO of that one fired or something like that.
Yeah.
And they went on a massive tirade online.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, he's actually a bit of a lot of people jump to his side, but apparently he's a bit difficult to work with.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. He seems like
he went on a massive rant that he was really unhappy that his character had been used in Astrobot.
Yeah, I remember that.
But again, they would have gone to Bend Studios and asked for permission for the character.
Yeah. Just another one that looks really cool. Tides of Annihilation.
Tides of Annihilation looks all right. I'll give you that one.
It looks real. I think it looks really sick.
But the big PlayStation first.
It's Arthurian Legends based, which I'm a big fan of.
Obviously, yeah. I think the big one for me though, the one that the big one from Sony first party was Soros.
You mean Saros?
Saros. Yeah, which closed out the trailer. It's made by Housemarque. It's another game in the. It's basically Returnal 2 because they don't want to just do the story of Returnal again, but they are doing.
It's basically Returnal with a guy this time.
It's a different sort of setting, but that being said, I really liked Returnal, so another one of those next year is I'm up for.
I have not played Returnal, I will admit.
If you like good roguelikes, it's definitely going to appeal to you. But it's very run and gun, so I think if you like, it feels very third person Doom in kind of a few ways, but with some RPG-like elements.
I think I would have to see more of it to like really get into it, because so far we just got a trailer, which granted it was a cool trailer. Like the monster we got in it was very soulsy.
Now, I have to. I will say as well, though, it did bother me that two games were very absent from this thing. One of them obviously had a reason to not be there because it's getting its own thing, which was Death Stranding 2. But I really thought Ghost of Yotei was going to be at this thing.
I didn't really think it was.
Yeah.
I know, admittedly, there is time for it to be shown. Like, it's probably coming out at the end of the year, so there's time to build up Ghost of Yotei. Like, it could be at Summer Games Fest. PlayStation could announce it on their own, like they did like when we got the Elden Ring release date.
I don't know why I really want to call it Ghost of Yotei. I know it's not pronounced that. I know it is Yotei, but I don't know why Yotei sounds more right to me. I have no idea why. It's weird.
What do you got? So overall, what did you think of this state of play?
Why the fuck were people upset about it? It was great.
Yeah, I was very happy. We're getting a new Digimon game with mounts.
Yeah.
That's like 8 years.
Yeah, we got a bunch of.
I can finally ride Gabumon. Is great.
Yeah, we got a good new Digimon game. We have a new game from Housemarque coming next year. I still think they could have saved this for later in the year as an announcement, but
Oh, there's also a Chinese game based off Arthurian mythology set in London.
Yeah, that's
the one I mentioned.
Elliot pointed out, which
Tides Up
I wasn't a
Annihilation.
huge fan of it,
Oh,
but
that's it.
Elliot's kind of convinced me that I might end up liking it more than I would. They had, and to get a bunch of good release dates was awesome. I particularly Metal Gear Solid Delta to confirm that leak was real. I'm looking forward to playing that one. I'm taking the review job for that one.
Mind's Eye could be an interesting one. Oh, that's another one I probably have to see more of.
The thing that bothered, as I say, I think if Ghost of Yotei had been there, I think people would have had a better opinion of this whole thing. But
no, I think a lot. Let's be honest. Also, a lot of people complaining would have just been bitter Xbox fans,
which is a shame because Xbox has a lot to be. They have got a lot to be happy about right now. Avowed.
Like what?
Avowed.
Like what? A bunch of games that are coming out to PS5 next same day.
Avowed is going to be exclusive for at the moment, and it's got a pretty good review scores. It's got 80 on Metacritic. We got you got Game Pass. If you got Game Pass, you're going to have access to Claire Obscura, Expedition 33, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Which also coming out same day, PS5.
Yeah, but Game Pass means I'm not gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah,
you are part of the problem.
Then you've got the. What have you got? But you've also, and of course, you're potentially going to get Ninja Gaiden 4 at some point on that thing. They had a very good presentation a couple of weeks ago when they did a developer direct. So
yeah, a bunch of games that we already knew about, and a game that people thought, oh, that exists.
That's what Xbox Developer Direct is like. They don't really bring out the big guns till their not E3 show in June.
Yeah.
So I would grade, if I was going to give it a grade.
We forgot to mention Borderlands 4 as a release date, by the way. That looks cool.
Yeah, it does look, but it's basically what I expected. It's more Borderlands.
Yeah, I like Borderlands. I think it's cool.
Yeah. If you like Borderlands, this will impress you. I just thought when I saw it, I was like, this doesn't feel like a major upgrade for what is the first Borderlands on this generation.
I mean, is there really much you can upgrade with that showcase style? It already looks good.
Yeah, I grant you. So what would we grade this state of play?
B+.
Yeah, I'll probably go B- because there was a lot of heavy hitters.
I'm going to go in the middle and say B as a whole. I think pretty good. Could have been a little bit better. But what we got, I'm very happy with. I don't understand why people were saying this is the worst state of play ever. Guys, I've watched way worse state of plays than this.
A lot of them are probably upset we haven't got the new Bloodborne remastered yet.
It's never happening.
Actually, there's one theory that I remember Zero Lenny came up with saying Bloodborne remastered is coming, but it's going to be a PlayStation 6 launch title.
Yeah.
Kind of like, because PlayStation know that Bloodborne is a system seller. Like a lot of people bought PS4s for Bloodborne, so they're thinking, kind of like how Demon's Souls is for PS5. So they're thinking, wait for the new system, then we release it. They'll get more people looking at it.
I mean, hopefully they've contacted Bluepoint to do that if they want to, because again, that would be the Bluepoint was the studio that did the Demon's Souls remake. But yeah, I could buy that, but I'm still very doubtful that Sony wants to do.
I think it could be coming someday, just not for a long while.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like it's someday, but not in the immediate future.
Unless we get a surprise announcement this year, because this is the 10th anniversary of Bloodborne.
I also find it really surprising we're still getting games developed for the PlayStation 4 at the beginning of 2025. We are by the end of this year, we are going to be 5 years into this generation, and we're still getting support for the last one.
Yeah.
That, to me, basically says PlayStation had no confidence that people had no confidence in this generation and just kept on the last one.
Either that, or they just thought, how we could still do this? Why not?
So we'll be back next month with all our podcasts with Anime Amigos and Professionally Unprofessional.
Again, 2 Anime Amigos in 1 month. We can only apologize.
And we'll also, and of course, we'll also be back with another Professionally Unprofessional, where we're going to be talking about a lot of games, because obviously Monster Hunter Wilds will be out at that point. New Yakuza will be out at that point. I'll be able to talk more about Civ 7.
We're getting a new Bleach.
I'm going to talk about Avowed.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will stress the new Civilization game, Civ 7. I know it's out. I haven't had access to it until today because of issues with my Steam account, with using my card on Steam meant I couldn't purchase it to get the early access. So I'll talk about Civ 7 on the next one.
You've been buying too many hentai games. Steam was suspicious.
Funny. You're very funny men. Anyway.
I know I am. Why do you keep making jokes?
So we'll see you next month for all that. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.